With Undusted Letters from the Past, you've got a cleaning game and an emotional rollercoaster story combined into one for a relatively short but quite memorable experience. And probably, now I think about it, I've found the perfect game for my mum. The story for this game sees you playing as a daughter, going back to the familial home and up into the attic, where your aunt has left a valuable necklace behind and wants you to kind of go off and grab it. But when you get into the attic, you start discovering all of the different things that you've shoved up there over the years and want to start cleaning them up because it takes you down memory lane. This is then chunked up into various different chapters where you discover what your hopes and dreams were as a child and whether you wanted to go and pursue them or not. And the fact that that put you at odds with your parents, who are a bit more traditionalist or realist about perhaps you getting off into big creative dreams. And so you start to find out a little bit more about your parents and what they'd stored up in the attic too. And it tells a really beautiful story shed across 16 different objects that you tidy up and clean. And you thankfully only have to get them cleaned to 99% cleanliness, but you do get an extra achievement if you get 100% on them all. The story is then told in between these different objects that you clean. And what's cool about this is that the objects are highly rotatable, and quite often they've got little buttons that you need to press or little contraptions that might need to be pulled so that you can then see everything that is available to clean. So you'll have an old rotary telephone, for example, and so you need to be able to clean where the rotary is showing the numbers, but also when it's spinning around, all the bits that don't. And if you pick up the receiver, there's stuff underneath there. There's a cassette recorder, which actually you'll need to pop open and clean inside, for example. There's all different types of ones. A camera is another really good one because you have to kind of slide open the door and then retract the lens and then pop out the flash, and they've all got their own little nooks and crannies to clean. And you'll have a couple of different objects to clean them with, 4 to be exact. You've got a toothbrush, which helps you get into all of the design nooks and crannies, the screws and ridges and indents that you've got in all the different objects. There's then a scrubber brush, which kind of gets rid of the surface level dirt. If you come across any glass surfaces, out comes the towel to then buff and polish those up. And then there's like a leaf blower, which needs recharging, but gets rid of everything very powerfully, but moves very slowly. And so you use that for some really finicky stuff. Particularly like that when I was playing around with the typewriter, trying to get round all of the different buttons to make those clean. They aren't all available in every level, but they pop up in the levels where they're most useful, basically. And so the cleaning was actually intensely satisfying. As you clean different objects, some of them will start to trigger things. So you can take a photo of yourself, for example, with the camera. There's also an ocarina that starts to play out different tunes, for example. You can type away on the typewriter, and you're going to need to if you want to get it to the right level of cleanliness. And so they all have a kind of fidgetiness to them that I quite enjoyed. And with the relaxing piano soundtrack in the background, just watching the cleanliness meter go all the way up to their 100% marker is intensely satisfying, and seeing the objects all come to life and be highly interactable is cool too. Along the way, you will quite often in most levels come across a hint bar. And when you get to that, you can then press tab on your keyboard and it will show you where all of the remaining dirt is. So you can keep rotating around and find the last little specks so that you can try and get that 100% if you want to. And having that available made cleaning so much more of a breeze, because quite often I'd get to about 98.5%, I knew that there'd be some little ridge somewhere that I've just missed, and I'd be like, where is it? And that's where that hint comes in handy to make hitting 100% less of a chore and a like hidden object problem to solve, or more of a kind of rudimentary but very engaging and very easy to pick up and understand and complete cleaning game available. With everything so malleable and easy to manipulate and clean, it meant that the cleaning took place actually quite quickly and wasn't a chore at any point in time. And the story was impactful and made me think. I think I'm quite susceptible to these types of games where you're thinking about dreams that you've maybe not taken with you, or choices in your life that have taken you down different paths. I think this is what happens when you hit your 40s or you've just lost a parent or something like that. You end up kind of really mulling over these types of games. So if you like those types of experience and being placed in thoughtful environments, then this definitely is a good game for you to pick up. My only minor criticism of this game is that it is relatively short. I was able to complete it in just around 2 hours. I could go back and clean things up 100% and interact with objects to try and get some hidden achievements if I wanted to. But actually, the story tells itself exceptionally well that makes me not want to go back to it for a little while, so that it can ponder in my head and stew for a little bit longer. So yeah, I had a good time with Undusted Letters from the Past. I think it's a sensitive game. It is quite relaxing, and it definitely scratches that satisfying itch as well. Just be prepared that you might need a tissue on the side if you're particularly emotional like me.